Hey, Tribe YouTube fam, welcome back. In this video, we're really going to discuss the true meaning of money is my God. You know, you ever heard that before? And most of us have heard it, okay? Like money is a God to them, okay? And usually we kind of have a warped meaning around it. We kind of get this from movies because isn't it weird that how movies, really portray rich people or successful people or ultra successful, that money is their God. Oh, I laugh about this, but it's so true. When we talk about this, it is so true. The whole money is my God thing it's really kind of a warped meaning. So that's what we're going to discuss today. But before we get into this, really quick here, if you want to work with me, you want to be part of the tribe, the link is in the description. Also check out the description because I just dropped the 30-day challenge and the power drops, which is free, by the way. So check that out in the description. So let's get rocking and rolling. I am in Thailand. I've already had my morning walk. I'm on my second cup of coffee and I'm making my coffee as we talk about this. So my coffee's not done yet. And you know what? In Thailand, I'm drinking this bad boy. Instant coffee, baby. But let's get rocking and rolling. Having some fun with this. But one of the things, let me put this over here. The coffee pot, the hot water pot is kind of loud. I could take it out of the sound, but it distracts me a little bit. But what do I mean by this is money is my God. And everybody knows what that means, okay? But I really feel that people have a warped meaning. It's really a flip-flop. It's lots of times what happens is we always pick on the rich people. We always pick on the ultra successful, okay? We always want to judge them, okay? Now, this isn't a judging video, but what we end up doing is we see it through movies and TV shows, even though the actors in the movies and TV shows are celebrities and are wealthy, which that's an oxymoron, but that's what we see in TV shows and movies, okay? It's always a wealthy person's the bad guy, okay? It's always a wealthy person that money's a God to them. But what if I told you that money isn't really a God to them because they've mastered just let money flow to me. They don't care. You know what I mean? What if I told you if you're in poverty and middle class, you're the one that money is a God? What if I told you that? Would you believe me or not? I mean, be honest here. Comment below, okay? Before I give you my answer. What if I told you that if you're middle class right now, you're the one that's struggling with this philosophy. You're the one that money is a God. You're the one that has a death grip on money. You're the one that don't want to spend money. You're the one when your significant other wants to go out to eat, you're thinking like, oh my God, I don't want to go out to eat. I don't want to spend money. And you're trying to dodge. You know what I mean? You almost become a professional boxer. But in your relationship, you're trying to dodge like, okay, how can I get out of like going out this weekend? Because I don't want to spend money. Okay? I mean, I think we've all done that. No matter if you're a dude, a girl, whatever. I think we've all done that. We try to dodge to get out of stuff because we don't want to spend money. Okay? But what if I told you just those habits I just mentioned to you, even though I'm being funny, is exactly what we're talking about in this video. It's exactly money is a God to you because you have a death grip on money because you don't want to spend money. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. This is the core problems. Lots of times, this is why if you're trying to manifest money, this is the block you're having why money isn't coming to you. I mean, you could have done everything flipping right, but this is the block. Okay, you could have done the never dollar technique perfect out of anybody in the whole world. You get me? You could have already influenced your subconscious mind. Okay, But the block you're doing is you're not thinking like that most successful version of you. But let's jump over here for a second about this most successful version of me. Okay? Because that most successful version of you, guess what, is going to be wealthy. Guess what? They're going to live life on their terms. Okay? Guess what? They're going to be rich. And you might sit there and say, well, Chad, I don't want to be rich. Really? Okay. You might not, listen to this, you might not want to be wealthy. You might not want to be rich. But if you want to live life on your terms, you pretty much want to live life, do exactly what you want to do, when you want to do it, exactly when you want to do it. Okay? You want to be able to take family vacations whenever you want. Okay? You don't want to be picky on family vacations. You want to be able to go wherever you want. Okay? You want to be able to support your family, support your kids, send your kids to the best schools so your kids have a great life. You want to be able to do all that stuff. Okay? Well, guess what? That takes money. Okay? You don't have to be wealthy with that. Even if you make $200,000, $300,000 a year, you can pretty much live a life, any life you want. Almost. Okay? But again, that most successful version of you over here is going to have money. And remember, this most successful version of you over here, do you like that? I'm going to go off on a cheerleading dance. But this most successful version of you over here, what they've done is they've mastered that they don't care. They don't care about money. Money doesn't faze them. If they want something, they just buy it. You get me? If they want to go out to eat, they just make a decision to go out to eat, and they're not concerned about money. Okay? And you might be saying, and I can hear your thoughts right now. I can hear you. I'm psychic right now. I can hear what you're thinking. You're thinking, Chad, the reason why they don't care about money, the reason why when they go out to eat, they don't look at the bill, they just pay it. The reason why when they look at the menu, they don't look at the price, they just look at what they want, is because they got money. But what if I told you, you have to behave that way first before the money comes to you? See, that's the mistake you're doing. You have to behave that way first. You have to be that identity first before the money flows to you. See, the secret is, this is what the wealthies figured out. Now, some of them, again, I'll be honest, some wealthy people figured it out, and that's how they became wealthy. Then some wealthy people, maybe they got lucky, okay, and their business started to take off. Then they kind of jumped over to wealth, okay, but how they kept the wealth, how they kept on making more money, is because it dawned on them that it's my beliefs. It's my beliefs around money. It dawned on them that I have to be the person first before it comes to me. And that's how you keep money as well. I got to be this version first before it comes to me. Okay. All ultra wealthy, if you listen to them, they say the same things. They say the same things, my friend. You got to be that version first. Okay. This is why I say, like, most of the time with poverty and middle class, even if you're upper middle class, you have a death grip on money. You're the one that has a death grip on money. Listen to this. You're the one that has a death grip on money way more than the wealthy people. Because the wealthy people, again, I'm repeating myself, the wealthy has mastered, I don't care. Okay? If I want it, I'm going to buy it. Okay? And the excuse you use is, well, Chad, they're wealthy. Of course they're going to say that. They got money. Okay? But the secret is you got to do it now, today. Okay? Now, granted, I'm going to give you some examples here. Granted, you can't just go out and buy your dream car. You can't just go out and get a car and be like, okay, I'm going to pay for it. Okay? But you can do it for little things. You see, what's messing you up right now in this scenario in your life about money is because you're not mastering the little things. Okay? Just like I said, when you go out to eat, especially if you go out to eat with friends or your significant other, maybe they want to go out to eat on the weekend and you're just like, I don't know, I don't want to spend money. Okay, you're trying to dodge it. Okay. Well, what are you doing when you're in your mind, you don't want to spend money? You're trying to dodge. Okay. You're trying to manipulate. You're trying to get out of it without them knowing, without you communicating that you don't want to go. Okay. You're acting, you're acting from a scarcity mindset. That's what you're doing. Okay. You're acting like a poverty person. Okay. That's what you're doing. You're not acting from abundance. You don't have that abundance mindset. You get me on that? Okay. You're not thinking from abundance because you're thinking like, I don't have, or maybe you have, but I don't want to spend. Okay. And you have that death grip on money. Remember, when you have that death grip on money, you stop the flow of money. This is the hard concept to get. When you don't want to spend, you have a death grip on it for whatever reason. Listen to this, for whatever the reason it is. It doesn't matter. You can have the greatest reason in the world. Okay. But subconsciously, you have that death grip on money, and that stops the flow. That stops the abundance coming in because you're not acting abundant. Okay. Maybe you're going out with a group of friends, but the whole reason why you don't want to go out because you don't know who's going to pay for it. Okay. So you're trying to dodge. You get me? Or maybe you go out, eat with your group of your buds, or you eat with a group of your girlfriends, and at the end, it's one of those restaurants where you all have to get up and you go over to the customer service center, and that's where you pay your bill. Okay, you go up for your hostess. They don't bring the bill to the table. Okay, and you're with 4 or 5 of your buds or your girlfriends, and you naturally you start thinking to yourself, well, who's going to pay? We haven't discussed, are we splitting, or someone's paying for the whole thing? And then you start noticing, like, I'm standing up front here. So you start like talking and chatting, and you start nonchalantly kind of going to the back of the line. Have you ever done that? Or you look and you're like, oh, Susie, and you start making something up. Oh, Susie, okay, what are you going to do this weekend? Remember that when you pretend you're having this conversation so you can walk to the back of the line because you don't want to be standing up front. But see, well, the thing is, you can fool other people. You can fool all your friends. But you can't fool your subconscious mind. You can't fool what you're thinking about. Okay? So from that instance, we've all done it. I've done it. Okay? Is what are you thinking? Are you thinking from a scarcity mindset? Or are you thinking from an abundant mindset? Okay, and I think in that example, we all could agree that you're thinking from scarcity. You're thinking from a scarcity poverty mindset. Okay, you're not thinking about abundance. Make sense? So this kind of sum up this video. I kind of been going back and forth. What do you need to work on? How you can get better at this? Okay. And for one thing, you know what? Let me make my coffee over here. We're talking about, so I'm kind of getting thirsty. We're talking about how in this next few minutes, what you need to work on. Okay. And I've done this. I still do this. I still fall in the trap, my friends, because I've been one of those people when I was growing up. I was like this as a kid, as long back as I can remember. Okay, even if my mom was here in this video, she would agree with me. I never liked to spend money. I don't know why. I don't know. I mean, I've had to as a kid. Probably heard my parents argue about money, heard them talk about they don't have, heard them talk they can't afford. You know, I've had to heard it at some sorts. You know, I just can't remember those conversations because I'm too young. You know what I mean? But it's true, like 100%. Like, and it carried over with me to adulthood. Like even as a teenager, when my mom would give my sister and I money to go to like a festival, and I was 5 years older than my sister, so she would always give me the money and manage the money. And my sister and I would spend all day at the festival. And when we came home, if my mom gave me like $20 back in the day when I was a kid, $20 went a long way. So she gave me $20. At night, she's like, you got change left. I would actually give her the $20 back. Then she would be like you didn't buy anything? You didn't get nothing? Then my sister's having a fit over here. He's like, he wouldn't even buy me something to drink. I laugh because it's flipping true. I'm not making it up. And I laugh because if my sister was here, if I was in Ohio right now, and my sister was here, and I mean, we could probably tell stories around it, but it'd probably be a funny video. You know what I mean? So many stories of the Chad. Okay. But the reason why I tell you that story is because, like, I'm someone that really struggles with this. Okay. Even as an adult, even someone who makes great money. Okay. I still struggle with it. You know, if I'm not careful, I'll go back to that old version of me that we're talking about. Okay. I have an ant on me. It's Thailand. Okay. So, how do we work on this? Okay. And the biggest thing is, what you have to understand is that the video is long enough for me to use bad language. And I hate to use bad language, but I think it's appropriate in this video. The thing you have to understand is you can't give a fuck. Okay, you can't give a fuck about money. Okay, you have to say something to yourself that totally detaches you from the money. Okay, and for some reason, this used to bother me for years, and I'm just now kind of getting over this stuff. And like when I say, for example, if I say I don't give a fuck, of course your brain's going wild and saying like, well, Chad, you have to care. Chad, you have to care about money. Chad, you have to care about how you're budgeting your money. Chad, you have to care about people. Okay, I didn't say all that. You know what I mean? I'm an excellent money manager. Okay, I manage my money very, very good. But that doesn't mean I'm cheap and I'm in a scarcity and poverty mindset. Okay, so around that is I don't give a fuck. Make sense? What I mean is, like, when you go somewhere, if you know you're going to go out to eat, get what you flipping want. Bottom line. Okay, and not give a fuck about it. Like, you really have to train yourself. You don't care. Okay, because listen, the more you care, the more attached you get. The more attached you get, the more friction and force you create. Remember, that's the death grip. The death grip is you're forcing it. Okay. Remember, what does force do in the manifesting world? What does friction do? I'm asking you questions here, making you think. Well, force negates. Force repels stuff from you. Okay. It's the same thing in the SP world. If I'm trying to force a relationship, I'm trying to force somebody to like me. Well, what does that do? They can feel that energy and they kind of stay away from me. They don't want to be around the Chad. You know what I mean? It's the same thing in the money world. You can't care. Okay. This is a hard concept. So how do you get to a point where you don't care? That's the next step to this. And this is what you really have to do. This is where you really have to practice what you preach. You really have to apply this knowledge to your life. You have to practice with little things, my friends. Little things. You know what I mean? When you go to pay your bills, little things are like this. When you go to pay your bills, you have to pay your bills. You have to do it, baby. Okay? But why are you paying your bills all stressed out and pissed off? Okay? My mom used to do this. I mean, I pick on my mom. I love my mom. Okay? But I've also talked to my mom about this. You know, sometimes I go back to Ohio and I visit and I stay with them for a few months. You know, I started noticing every time it was bill time for my mom, she would walk in the kitchen, and that's why I'm backing up so I can demonstrate for you. She would walk in the kitchen and she's like, I gotta pay my bills today. I'm not even joking. That's how she would act and behave. Even if she had money to pay her bills. You get me? Even if she had plenty of money to pay her bills, she acted like this. And when people act like this, what is she acting like? Is she acting like someone from abundance or someone in scarcity? Okay, I'll let you answer that for yourself. Okay, and I finally talked to my mom. I said, Mom, okay, every time you pay your bills, bless your bills. Okay, every time you pay your bills, say, thank you, I got enough money to bills. Thank you, I live in abundance. Thank you, I got abundance of money left over every time I pay my bills. Thank you, every time I pay my bills, double comes back to me. See that's how you master these little things. Okay, you're already paying your bills. You have to do it, but you need to change your state. You need to change your mindset around it. Okay. And when I promise you, when you do it long, it's not going to change overnight, but when you do it long enough, you will start shifting. Okay. Let's say you're a coffee drinker. Okay. I never used to be a coffee drinker, but the last maybe 4 years I've done coffee. Let's say you go to Starbucks. Okay. And you go over there, besides looking at the prices, you just get what you want. Okay. I mean, probably the most expensive drink is $5-6. Okay. Unless you're getting a coffee plus a snack and a sandwich, whatever. But you go in there, you don't care, you get what you want. You don't focus on the price, you just get what you want. Make sense? Or you get to a point where they always have the tip jar at Starbucks, and you can only do this if you pay cash. You know, you throw the change in a tip jar. Why? Because you're abundant. Okay, you don't look at it as, be careful. What you have to do, you have to be really, really careful what you're thinking at the time when you're purchasing something. Okay, that's what you really have to do. You have to be self-aware. What am I really thinking when I'm spending money? Okay, because once you catch yourself, you can fix it. Okay, that's what I'm really talking about. So if I'm buying Starbucks and I know the drink is $5, or let's say I'm buying Starbucks, I travel a lot. Let's say I'm buying Starbucks in the airport. Now the Starbucks is at $5, it's $10. Okay. And what am I thinking at that point? Am I thinking it doesn't bother me? I want Starbucks. Okay. Okay. Even if now I think Starbucks does it where you pay with your Starbucks card or your debit card. They actually have a tip where you can write on it. They used to not do that forever. I don't know why, but round up. Even if it costs $10, if your mind goes into the gutter saying, "Oh my God, I don't want to give a 50-cent tip because I just paid $10 for this." So you're thinking scarcity again. You're not thinking from abundance. You're thinking you have a death grip on the money. You see what I'm saying? That's why I say start with small things. Okay, when you go grocery shopping, okay, you got to go grocery shopping. Even if you're a dude, you got to go grocery shopping if you live by yourself. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you go grocery shopping, you cook at home, you buy convenient food, you buy food just to throw in the microwave, you order out, the food to come in. It doesn't matter what you do. But when I go grocery shopping, I've shared this many times, is when I'm walking around the store, I'm telling myself secretly, I can buy anything I want in here. Because it's true. When you're in a grocery store, you can buy anything you want. Nothing is out of your price range. Okay? So you're stating an affirmation that's true. Okay? I can buy anything. I'm not going to buy the whole store. You know what I mean? But I can buy anything I want in here. Okay? You got to repeat this stuff too. Every time I did this, every time I went grocery shopping, I would walk around. I can buy anything I want in here. Okay? And what would happen is I would say, I can buy anything I want in here. Okay, when I spend money, money comes back to me double. Okay, then I would buy anything I want. I would really pay attention to when I went grocery shopping. If I really wanted something, I would buy it. Okay, but it's not out of your price range. You get me? Like if you're making choices from that scarcity mindset, you're always going to remain in scarcity. Bottom line. But if you're making choices from abundance, the flow's going to come to you, but you practice with small stuff. Okay, let's say I go grocery shopping and I need to get coffee. Okay, and I'm going, and then and Ang's with me, so I happen to glance over at the car. Ang has the cart already full. My mind goes in the gutter, scarcity mode again. I'm thinking, how much is that going to cost? Okay, then I start looking at my coffee, looking at the price, looking at the cart. Looking at my coffee thinking, well, maybe I should stop drinking coffee. Or maybe when we go to another store, maybe they're having it on sale. Again, what did I just do? I went in scarcity mode, poverty mode. I'm not thinking abundant because I glanced over and looked at the cart instead of buying coffee that's, $4. Okay. Okay. So what are you doing? I mean, what you're secretly thinking behind stuff? Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, you work on the small areas because you master the small. Once you master these small areas, guess what? It moves automatically. You start thinking automatically in bigger areas. Okay, it's the same thing. When you go out to eat, you know you're going out to eat, and just choose what you want. Don't look at the prices. Now, I'm gonna put a disclaimer here, especially when you go out to eat. Okay, you might look at the menu. You might tell me, Chad, well, Chad, sometimes I got to eat. I'm really craving the filet mignon, but I can't afford it. But that's $75. You know what I mean? Whatever, how much filet mignon is. And if you truly can't afford it, I'm not telling you to buy it, go in debt. Okay. If you truly can't afford it, I don't mean you eat there, then you're in the back doing dishes. Okay. You know what I mean? Maybe you got to eat and you get the chicken dinner. Okay. But that's within your budget. That's what you got to do. But then when you walk away, since you love Never Goddard, you do the revision technique, meaning you revise your day. You revise that incident, meaning that I really wanted a filet mignon. In your imagination, I got the filet mignon. It tasted wonderful. Okay. Or you put yourself in a state that I order the chicken dinner, but I pretend like I'm eating filet mignon. You know what I mean? Okay. This is where the revision technique, these other techniques kind of come into play. So you can self-master this. But the biggest thing is paying attention to your thoughts behind it. When you go out to eat, you order what you want. Okay, stop fighting it. See, a lot of you are in relationships, and maybe you're the dude, and your girlfriend expects you to pay. Okay, and if you're a guy listening to this, like we've all been in that situation where your girlfriend wants to go out to eat, and you're over here like, we just spent a lot of money last weekend. You know what I mean? And you're trying to dodge it. You're trying to dodge. You're trying to control. And see, that's a scarcity mindset. See, sometimes when you just let it go, again, what I said 10 minutes ago, you just let it go. You don't give a fuck. Whatever happens, I'm not going to flip and die. I'm just going to let it go. Lots of times that's when the magic happens, my friends. Okay. Lots of times what happens when we talk about this stuff, that you don't do this stuff long enough. You don't stay in the game long enough. Okay. You still secretly hang on. You still secretly have a death grip, and you're over here trying to basically say, oh, well, I am abundant, but you secretly have that death grip. Remember what I said, you can't fool the subconscious mind. Okay, you can't fool you can't fool your spiritual mind. You can't fool the universe. You can fool other people, but you can't fool yourself. Okay? Bottom line. And I'm going to end with this. Because lots of times what happens, this is why we have to stay in the game. This is why this is a lifestyle. You want to live life on your terms. This is a lifestyle. The reason why I say it's a lifestyle is because, and I'll give you an example in this topic here, is lots of times for us to change, our back has to be against the wall, baby. You know what I mean? Okay. And that's what happens when we hang in there. Okay. We hang in with this type of stuff. We hang in there with this type of material, is because in the beginning, nothing's working. Maybe some things work, some things don't. It's really inconsistent up and down. But it's not until your back is clear up against the wall, you have no wiggle room to get out of it. Okay. And this is when people really find out the magic in living life on your terms. This is when people really figure out the magic in manifesting. Okay. The magic of having an abundant life, having an abundance mindset, is because it's not, for a lot of you, even for myself too, it's not until your back's against the wall until you figure this stuff out, until you really figure out it works. Okay. Let me give you an example. Okay. It's not until you're married. Okay. Your significant other always wants to eat out. And of course you're paying for it. Or maybe you're managing the money. Maybe she works, you work, but you're still kind of have a death grip of money. You're still trying to figure it out. You're still kind of dodging. You still, like, when you go out to eat, you have a knot in your stomach because you don't want to spend the money. You're like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Why does she want to eat out all the time? What the fuck? You know what I mean? Okay. I mean, a lot of us have been there. Either you mastered it, mastered it, or you're still stuck with it. But what I'm saying is not until your back's against the wall, where you're faced with where everything's coming at you, it's not stopping. You have no wiggle room. You can't get out of it. The only way you can get out of it when your back's against the wall is let go of it. Be free from it. I don't mean run from it. You finally just let it be. You finally don't give a fuck. You're just like, whatever happens is going to happen. If my wife wants to go out to eat, let's go out to eat. Even if I have $10 in the bank, if you want to go out to eat, baby, let's go. I mean, because you get to a point where you're so tired of fighting it. Okay, that's really what it is. You're so tired of fighting it, and it's an internal fight. Okay, you're so tired of hanging on to it. You're so tired of trying to figure this fucking stuff out. You're so tired of it. That's what I mean. Your back's against the wall because you're so tired of it. You're mentally exhausted. You're exhausted at this point because you're just hanging on to it for so long. This could be years. You're hanging on to it for so long. You're finally forced. You finally just let it go. You finally just like, you know what? I can't do this no more. You finally just like, I don't give a fuck. You know, she wants to spend money, spend money. You want to go out to eat? I'll go out to eat. I don't care. And you really just don't care. Oh, you want to go out and spend money? Oh, let's go. You want to go grocery shopping? Okay. You want to buy steaks? Buy steaks. I don't care. Okay. You want to do this? Want to eat this? Well, okay, let's go. Let's do it. Okay. But it's so funny. Listen to this. It's so funny when this happens. Kind of the opposite actually happens. When you finally just let it go and let it be, you're operating from that abundant state, even though you don't feel like it. You just like, I don't give a fuck. Holy crap. And guess what? That's when all of a sudden, out of the blue, you wake up one day and flipping things start attracting to you like flies on shit. Okay. You go to work and you're not even thinking about anything. You go to work and they flip and promote you and you make twice as much money. You know what I mean? And you're just like, where'd this come from? Okay. That's the kind of stuff what happens, but sometimes it doesn't happen for us is until we're kind of pinned against the wall. We have nowhere to go. The only thing we can do is just like, let it go. I don't care no more. Okay. And letting go, letting it be, detaching from it. See, that's the magic sauce in manifesting. That's the magic sauce with anything. It's being able just to truly let it go. Okay, that's when the magic really happens. But unfortunately, when we talk about this stuff, some of us have to go through this. Some of us have to go through that. Like, I fought as hard as I could. And the only thing for me to do is let it be. You get me? Because most of the time when money's not flowing in our life, we're the one that's blocking it. It's, we're the problem plus we're the solution. That's what you have to understand. We're blocking the flow of money coming into our life. It's not anything else but us. And it's our thought process. It's our habits that we're doing, or habit thinking about money, especially when we spend money. Okay, again, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. Okay. As we wrap up this video, it's really what you're thinking. Okay, that's what you got to master. Okay. But anyway, my friends, YouTube fam, tribe, just want to share that thought with you. I really didn't think this was going to be a 35-minute video. I was kind of thinking, I don't even know if I can talk about this for 8 minutes. But once I get going, you know what I mean? We have some fun with this and stuff like that. Made my coffee, stand in the kitchen. But anyway, my friends, remember, comment below. Love to hear your thoughts on that. Remember, check out the description. All the nuggets are in the description for you. Other than that, remember, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.